You're not live. I thought you were already live.
No. We were waiting for you.
The star of the show.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Apologies, my fault. I was running a bit late, but happy to be here. And sorry, Vlad, over to you to do your thing.
Yeah. All right. We're finally live. We've been just waiting for everyone. I won't mention who the person who got late, but either way. Welcome back to Odys Talks. This show is brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for H domains and websites, as well as several additional services, including topic clusters, EAT audit, 301 redirects, and fully managed website hosting. You can also buy domains and websites from us in installments right now. Just reach out to us and place your request. Today we're going to revisit the amazing event that took place just a couple of weeks back, SEO Vibes DubAI, hosted by WhitePress and Charles Float. And all of today's participants are the people who were there at the event. So this is going to be a great episode. And as mentioned on our Twitter and emails, we're going to take a deep dive into the latest Google Core update. I wonder what these guys think about it. So guys, why don't you go on and introduce yourselves once again? And well, for Gareth, it's going to be the first time. So I forgot to mention who I'm joined by today. It's Steve Khanna of WhitePress, Jamie AF of Increasing.com and Lasso, and Gareth Simpson of Seeker Digital. So go on, guys. Gareth, since you're here for the first time, why don't you go first?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Vlad. So Gareth Simpson from Seeker. I have been an SEO for since I was a teenager, and so like 17, 18 years now. Started link building very, very, very early on. It's all I've ever done, to be honest. And run an agency which primarily focuses on PR, content marketing, and SEO, of course. And a really unique blend of those skill sets, and most primarily for e-com, SaaS, enterprise brands, and like super into AI, of course. We just had a great event where everybody was sort of talking and sharing ideas of the future, which feels very much imminent on us right now. So that's me. Happy to be here, and thank you. Over to Jamie.
I'm Jamie. I do the affiliate stuff. We'll see how it goes over the next month with what's rolling out. We'll see if I still have a job. I also invest in some SaaS. Is he gone? That was enough.
He probably pressed the wrong button. Well, go on. Okay, he's back. Welcome back.
Already.
Stealing the show. As soon as it's not his turn, he's gone.
Sorry, Jamie.
Do affiliate SEO stuff. Also a fair few SaaS investments on trying to expand that and sort of widen it out and go to being sort of full stack growth hacking marketer, as well as an SEO on the affiliate side.
Awesome. Amazing. Steve, you're the one left.
Steve and I from WhitePress. I'm the youngest in the group, but not in terms of the age, but in terms of the experience I have in the world of SEO. Only 2 years. So I've literally taken my first baby steps into the world of SEO, but primarily at WhitePress. I think a majority of your audience would know. We've got a content marketing platform, digital PR, all that sort of stuff. We're not competition of Gareth, so don't worry about that. We've been doing that for 11 years. I look after the English markets. Obviously, I know the gents. I've been with all of you guys during Dubai. So, looking forward to the chat within the next 45 minutes to an hour. Talking Dubai, but also talking what Uncle Google's going to do to us in the next 2 months.
Google. All right.
Indeed.
Let's kick things
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Right. Well, all All right, Steve, since you and your team were putting the SEO Vibes Dubai conference together, I mean, what's your perspective on how it all went after like almost 2 weeks after it ended?
If I had to summarize it in one line, my body hurts in places it's never hurt before. But in terms of, no, listen,
It's all because of the push-up competitions, you know.
exactly, right, exactly. I think I probably went through like 4,000 push-ups on 20 different beaches in those 5 days I was there. But no, jokes apart, I think us for WhitePress, I think it was probably the most successful event ever, and we've been doing events all around the globe for the last few years, where Poland's always been our flagship conference. But based on the organization, the venue, the quality of speakers, the quality of attendees, obviously the fun, the yacht party, the after party, all of that, based on the feedback I've been getting personally and all the social media mentions we've got, I think I can sit here and proudly say this was an event where I think a lot of us would remember till the end of 2024. We've had inquiries coming back and saying, listen, mate, when can we buy for 2025? So I know, people talk a lot about McDickity's event in Chiang Mai. And of course, for me, that is still numero uno when it comes to, networking, education and all of that. But I think WhitePress could be immensely proud of pulling off this event in Dubai. 100 quality people up there. I think Alex from Odys, he summed it up perfectly. He said it wasn't just about the speakers, all the attendees who were there, extremely switched on. Mastermind sessions were absolute gold. So if I had to give, a rating out of 10, I'll probably rate WhitePress and the event 20 out of 10, to be honest. But then don't believe a word I'm saying, because we were the organizers. I think a lot of that has to come from Jamie, Gareth, and of course, Vlad yourself.
Yeah, guys. Well, from a speaker's perspective, Gareth, what were your impressions and what are they now? I mean, what were your impression during the event, at the stage, in the crowd, at the after parties, and what's your impression now since the event wrapped up?
Yeah, so it was a fantastic event. I just had to be there because it's AI and SEO. So I was sold just on that. So it was really really fantastic. And like Steve was saying, you learn just as much from the attendees, really, like the networking and hanging out afterwards and going for lunch and things. So really thoroughly enjoyed the event, and I was kind of super busy, so I didn't actually take part too much, and I tried to keep it chilled. I had just traveling a lot at the moment. I just come from Thailand. I popped into Dubai for the event, and then I'm in India now, actually visiting a couple of some of my friends and colleagues out here. So and then flying back to the UK very soon. So yeah, it's been a busy one, but it was great to stop off in Dubai. The talks were, as expected, very 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 advanced, and that's what I think everyone was hoping for and looking for. And I think it's super important and relevant right now, especially with everything that's going on in the industry. So much change. Like it's, we're on the cusp of some massive changes to search. Like it's, as we knew it before, in my opinion, and I know this is shared, it's finished in its current format. It is everything that we knew about search before. Like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time. I am in the process of completely pivoting so much of what we're doing in my agency, our SOPs, our deliverables. I'm purposely keeping it in a dynamic, agile sort of state in terms of like clients and investment in like processes and things. Some of these big agencies have, they've got so much in these certain tactics and things. I don't think a lot of it's going to work in future. So that's the main reason. Like, you know, the fun stuff aside, I just had to be at anything like this to see what everyone else is thinking and see, am I going crazy thinking all this stuff, or are other, you know, thought leaders in the industry thinking the same stuff? And I think it's fair to say that there's lots of like shared views on this. So fantastic event. So and Steve mentioned we're not competitors, maybe on the dance floor. So yeah, it was really good. So yeah, thank you, Steve, and to the whole of WhitePress and Charles for the invite. So yeah, great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, as a self-proclaimed science geek, I was really surprised by seeing you adding Kardashev scale into your presentation. I was like, whoa, I know these words, you know.
That's great that you did. Yeah, it's good that you did, because like I've used those before. Jamie saw my talk in Manchester, which is one of actually, and I think I had them on there, didn't I? I think we talked about it after. That's when we clicked, actually, I think. And the reason I put that stuff in there is because I'm trying to open people's minds to how powerful and big, like, obviously we're not going to be alive to see a type 1 civilization, or maybe, actually, who knows? They say the first person to live to 200 years old has already been born. So, you know, who knows what's possible? But it's just to open people's minds to like how fundamentally like massive this stuff is. It's not just bigger than search. I think that's how I sort of opened up and introed. This is way bigger than search. This is way bigger than marketing. This is like possibly even bigger than capitalism. Who knows? So we're on a transformational shift in society, I believe, and God, it's just buckle up for the ride. I say that's all we can do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Jamie, like being there as an attendee, what did you expect, and were your expectations met or exceeded, or were you underwhelmed?
I got back on Monday after, and I was still so tired the next Sunday. You know, when you can feel it behind your eyes, like the heaviness, like on your eyelids, on like it's like, oh, I'm not 21 anymore, clearly, because this is hitting hard now, even like 5-6 days later. But it was such a great time. So I fully agree with Gareth's sentiments, and you've got to be wherever they're talking about AI in your industry, or just AI generally, because it does feel like such a before and after moment that, like, obviously I'm only 27 years old. I haven't seen like much at all, but this is still like, this feels like the big thing, that life will never be the same again. And so we have to be on top of it. And as terrifying as it is, I'd rather be on the right side of history. So I'd rather know what to do than be taken along. I'd rather go along for the ride than be taken along for it, right? So even listening to Gareth's talk that he gave, and thinking on such a granular level for how we can use and like gain from AI in like ways that I would never have thought about automating, from like paying for like internal elements of. By the way, if I get that email and I work out it's from you, I'm emptying your account. I'm finding a way to get around that. But it's just the way, and the granularity is so good. And so like Gareth, everyone else did amazing jobs, and the caliber of people there, the speakers and the people from the mastermind groups was so high. It's the highest, like some of the highest I've been around in. So that's really inspiring. So I came back like beyond the actual technical knowledge and like questions you can get answered, just thinking like, okay, I've been in a rut doing the same things every day. Now I need to step backwards and think, this is how we go and do this to the next level, because I'm not even thinking on the right level that I need to be thinking on, having been around these people that are thinking on completely different dimensions. That's beyond the technical stuff I learned, and I learned a lot, is the biggest changing is the mindset widening, I'd say, and coming back with a new mindset of, all right, now I'm focusing on granular things, and that can be done. How do I delegate that and scale that and do all of these other things, harnessing what's now available? So yeah, it's hugely valuable.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Well said.
I'm totally there with you, with all of you, especially on the not even especially on every single aspect that all of you guys mentioned. Totally there with you. One thing that I really appreciated was that the sponsors were in the hall where the presentations were going on, because, well, for me, most of the times I'm just staying out there in the lobby at the booth, so that I can meet and talk to people, and I'm missing out on most of the presentations. And this time I was there for pretty much all of the presentations. I had to step out to carry on with a conversation at some point, but I mean, it was so good, so good. And it wasn't just about like SEO per se in general, for me. It was the practical stuff, the practical AI stuff. I mean, the LLMs, the image generation tools, everything. I mean, it was, I even started putting a lot of stuff to my work once I got back home. It was like, wow, really, it was a perfect decision.
Yeah, I think the reason why we kept you guys in the main ballroom there, of course, because of the views. Because for us, it was obvious no one's going to take that coffee cup and walk out in the dark foyer. Everyone would stand there, and it actually worked. There were several other benefits you just mentioned, Vlad. Yeah, you make a valid point. People who actually stay at their booths during the conferences, they miss out on loads of talks or knowledge nuggets they could gain. So happy to know that. But even apart from the pitches and the presentations, I think Jamie was mentioning this to me day one, that it's these pre-event parties, during the event, after the event, where someone said something to you for like 5 minutes, and you go back and you implement that in your business, and you suddenly either increasing your revenue, or doing 2x 3x, or just cutting your costs down. And that stuff is not available online. So
Yeah.
again, it comes down to the quality of people. The more clever people you get together in a room, the more knowledge nuggets are there to share then in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What was your favorite part of the conference? I mean, like, was there maybe a presentation or a moment at a party, or sitting at the whiskey and cigars place and talking to someone, or I don't know, what was it, guys? Could be something that blew your mind. It could be that made you laugh your your lungs out. I don't know.
Sure, you don't want us to be honest.
I do. I really do.
I'll say the last night, the VIP party was good. That was good. And so, like, I haven't spoken about this publicly, but I was so drunk by the end, I swiped my card for another $4,000 off. It was 17,000 AED for the end. I'm still upset with myself over that, but I'll get over it. But we made it back. But it was a great night. I've never done that before, so I'm glad that it was a good time. But I died after. I was so drunk. That was a good time. And the SEO stuff was fun as well.
SEO just got in the way of drinking, to be honest. But yeah, exactly. And that's kind of that lasting image of us going to that penthouse club. And you mentioned $4,000. I heard another figure there of another gentleman dishing out $10,000 of yeah.
That wasn't mine. That was me. I was
that wasn't you. It was again one of our mates from the group. But I heard that's what Charlie was telling me. I still have to follow up and see, is that really true? Someone gave.
Charlie might be talking about me, because I was with Charlie when it happened.
Yeah.
Because I mean, every half an hour they were like bottles of alcohol coming to the table, like 3 little bottles of Sea Rock or your champagnes and all of that. So I won't be surprised.
Yeah, definitely motivation to work harder now after that one. Definitely out of my league with that one.
Oh, and
Charles is on. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles. Hey. Nice to see you here.
How you doing?
Right,
I guess I guess the offline chats with like people who I've learned from and respected and admired for many years, and Charles, Correa, etc. And being able to get some time to sit down and chat and talk about this stuff, because we're like all over the world, this community, and we all chat online and stuff, but actually sitting down and going through going through the industry and what everyone's working on and what everyone thinks, and like helping each other out with solving problems, and just like validating your own ideas as well, because like as we were saying in the beginning, the intro, we're moving into very uncharted territory now. So like there are no rules, and we don't know what's going on, or there's certainly nothing. There's very little that's been defined, and like everything in SEO, exactly. And this is the thing with SEO, right? It's a very unofficial like industry, and we learn. Hey Craig, how you doing? We learn. We learn by reverse engineering stuff, and then sharing. Good to see you. Great to see Craig there as well, and Carrie, and all the gang, and yeah, just chatting and catching up with these people was certainly the highlight for me, and validating new ideas, and like crowdsourcing like opinions and things, and people said, yeah, this is a thing, this could work, this is like, you're not crazy for thinking these things. And I think I have to be reined in sometimes, because I think sometimes 10, 15, 20 years ahead, when I should really be thinking about like now and 1-2 years ahead. So like not getting ahead of myself. And so that's helpful. There still is opportunity with the current state of play, and that it is good, but it is going to evolve, and we need to start readying ourselves for that now, and that the rate of change is going to speed up. I mean, God, like that update that came out yesterday, I thought, brilliant. Like they've got like expired domains has been mentioned in this update, and then we're going on a podcast with Odys. I thought brilliant. And by the way, my views on this are still very much pro Odys, by the way. And we should talk about. I think we should probably talk about this at some point. So I don't want to hijack the agenda and stuff. But yeah, that was certainly the highlight for me. Just catching up with the guys that some of which have just joined the chat. So. Yeah,
I mean, gents, these updates now, because people have been talking about it. It seems like this big scary monster, and I've heard people text me saying, "Surely this is SEO is dead." So we know that's not true, but yeah, even if it was, then perhaps the party we had on the beach, that could have been the last official SEO is alive party. Yeah, the last supper kind of thing.
Yeah, the industry closing party.
What a great way to end it.
Yeah. I don't. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on, Gareth. Don't worry. Go on.
Well, I was just going to jump in and like as Timon, hope I've pronounced that right, as they said in the comments, it's always dying, and but it's not that it's dying, it's just evolving, it's always changing, and it's going to continue to evolve, and we just we need to evolve with it and adapt our tactics and things, and like even the update, yes, like there's always. Yeah, the update yesterday, I looked at that, I thought there's still so much wide open, even if all of this was true, which I don't necessarily believe, like, true as in like they can like put an end to some of this stuff, and they're going to devalue some of this stuff. Like my viewpoint is there's always a new way, how do I put this, a more future-proof method of doing the same thing. And I'm often people like some of these communities that that you guys like, they joke that I'm like the I'm the white hat boy, and I don't like the white hat black hat debate, but this is what they all say, because but I mean, it depends. That's a very subjective like spectrum, isn't it? Depends how you look at it. Like I'm still like, as long as you put the user first, like the end user, and you're doing quality work that actually adds value to the web, and you're contributing to this, what is probably like humankind's biggest and best creation like ever. Like as long as you're doing user-centric work, like I'm all for anything. Like to be honest, like that's who I care about, not necessarily what big tech cares about, what their goals and directives are, because they've got their own agenda and we've got our own agenda. And I'm very much for the SMEs, the independent businesses, that some of which are struggling. Some of our clients have like struggled, and actually I've got thinking back to the pandemic, like they had to turn off their ads like because they couldn't afford it, and but the organic, because they'd invested so much in the organic, it sort of powered them through. And I was like, that's one of the motivations and why I do this. So like this, like we were talking in Dubai actually, Vlad, like people probably think and look at like they'll look at expired domains and say, oh, that's like a black hat spammy aggressive tactic. It is if you do that, but it doesn't have to be. Like actually, like I mostly work with like very above board enterprise brands, and if I communicate and position and promote this in the right way, and I do it and I conduct it and execute the strategy in the right way, it's ethical, it's above board, and actually we're giving the client a little bit of a leg up, which we all need, a little bit of a boost, sometimes a very, very big boost, and I'm all for that. And if that's reducing their Google AdWords spend, then I'm very happy with that. Just like big tech will use the double Dutch taxation system to avoid, they pay 2% tax in the UK. Well, last year or whatever the last quarter report. Based in Ireland, like technically legal, right? Is it right or wrong? That's that's up to debate and personal opinion. But that's they'll exploit their own loopholes, and we'll look for our own to protect our own interests and our clients' interests. But for me, as long as you protect the end user, the innocent web browser, and you don't do anything like shady, like stuff like that, like I'm all for I don't want to be careful about using the word hacking, but reverse engineering algorithms. Like it's the same. We're going to get the same with AI now as well. Like there's input, process, and an output, and if you stimulate it in the right way, you'll learn how it behaves, and then you can reverse engineer that, and then you can learn how it works, and then you can build strategies and deliverables and like activity to leverage that to hit your your goals, your marketing and your growth goals, etc. So that's kind of my philosophy on all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's also not. Go on. Sorry.
Just wanted to say that to sum it all up, the current situation for not just SEOs and affiliate marketers, but like link building agencies and companies like Odys is this.
Correct.
There we go.
Mr. Grills.
It's also
right,
not the only reason to buy an expired domain. It's not just for links. Like the most recent one I bought, I mentioned this in the video that we recorded, Vlad, has a lot of brand search volume because it was a historic piece of software that was a big deal and people loved it and people had an emotional attachment to it. So even if you take away the power of the links, there's more than just the link benefits to having some of these previously prestigious businesses operating in your corner instead of not existing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like I mean, if you look at big, big enterprises and the M&A game is exactly the same. Like companies grow quickly by acquiring other companies because they're acquiring the user base, they're acquiring like obviously like tech and IP. Talent, whatever it is, that there is so much more like value that you can have. Like you say, it's not just about the links. Sometimes if you're smart and you know how to utilize this tactic correctly, you're literally buying the rankings, the organic rankings. Like so, if you know how to, if you understand the sort of stuff that like Corey talks about, the overlap with semantics and the entities and stuff that and because all you have to do is read the patterns and understand how, not all you have to do, of course, but like reading the patterns is such a valuable, like I read that and then I try and reason. Like there was one the other day I was looking at and it said like, if it finds, some of the classifiers and things, and actually this is what this part of this update is about, and some of the examples in the official documentation is quite comical because they've used quite extreme examples. Yes, Charles, actually I'll bring up your comment in a second because I totally agree. Thank you, Brad. Ryan Stewart, like again, like he's a white hat marketer. He's ethical, but like I like his style, like because he's also like he's aggressive as well. Like he'll generate a load of signals and help get the algorithm to do what he wants it to do. And I think we were talking about an example in Dubai, Vlad, about who was it? Under Armour, the sports brand, purchased MyFitnessPal. Yeah, I think it was them. The nutrition app, the nutrition, like track your calories, audiences perfectly aligned, semantic overlap there. Perfect fit. Obviously, they didn't do it for the links; they did it for the user base. They did it for the branding. Think bigger than SEO, think bigger than links, as Jamie was saying. And actually, there's like some of these brands who will turn their nose up at like some of these tactics, massively missing out, right? Hugely. And even still looking at this and saying like, the expired domain thing, I can look at it and I'm like, this is still wide open, in my opinion. You can still absolutely do. Like, here's the thing. I look at that and I was going through it like, should I be worried about any of this stuff? I'm reading through it. It's like, no, we were already like, if they've now set the bar here with like what they're saying, obviously we'll all see how it plays out, their expired domains. If you're future-proofing your tactics, like I was like, already what we're doing is going to overcome those those new boundaries and that new threshold that they've put in place. So just thinking about how we and I'm sure like I'm not the most you guys obviously the pros on this, Vlad, but you're going for, and actually here's a talk that people should watch. I think, was it Brighton SEO? Nick Eubanks from FTF. He did an actual talk on this and a few years ago at Brighton SEO, and it's brilliant. I follow a similar process and did pick up like quite a lot of tips from him. If you take, sometimes that process can take like 6 months. Like if you go through a transformation process of 6 months long, where you're over, and I've done this very successfully, quite recently for a client, with like a 20K domain, probably more actually, it was dollars, but it was, same sort of like same category, but it still was super relevant. So one of the first things we want to try and achieve is try and get that new domain ranking for the same keywords that our client domain is ranking for. And that's what we did. We built it out, legit, genuine site of actual decent content, decent designs, and then started promoting it, and building it out as a legit business, and basically resurrecting it before that we then do a proper merger into merging it into the main today. I don't know, Jamie, is that sort of thing that you do, or is there you probably look at the guidelines as well and think they're still wide open, right?
We'll see what happens with the results, but I'll be pretty annoyed if they come down on me for this, because the biggest thing for my largest domain authority site was we bought a defunct e-commerce store in the niche for what was then like £23,000, like $30,000. But we did it because it had 42,000 monthly page views, and it was good content written by experts. And I wanted that, and I didn't want to have to write it myself. And it had all the real first-hand images and everything else. It was just a bonus that it came with everything else that was now defunct, and we could resurrect the content and everything else. And we 301 that into the main domain. It was super relevant, e-commerce ranking for informational terms. And we'll see if it gets hit. I think that was less likely, because that we try to do as a real acquisition. If you go on the Crunchbase for the main thing, you'll see that as a subsidiary. We did try to do it with all the PR and everything related to it, but we'll see what happens on the just pure expired domains that don't get 301. But everything they've said there is so counterable. If we move on to the parasite bit, if you do a one-off parasite, it's quite easy to tell that it's a parasite, because it's got no internal links and there's a bunch of other signals that suggest it's like the problem child. It's not part of the domain, like the actual domain itself. But if you do it properly, if you do a proper partnership where you agree that domain will support this whole topic cluster of content with internal links and other, let it go on to a category from the top, now all those other little related signals, I don't think that you can really tell that is from a rogue paid for subfolder versus the obvious sites. And I know they've said that you have to delete it now, Charles, who's in here, like I learned this from him talking about this, where he figured that the original helpful content update in 2022 was like, because nothing happened, that it was like for training data to see who would delete and prune stuff, and they could train it on that. I honestly reckon they have no idea how to tell what a subfolder is, and it's another example of you've got 2 months to delete it, see who fucking doesn't have the stones to keep their parasite content up, and then use that to try and hit the rest. And so Charles was, I learned that from Charles, but I honestly just don't think that you can tell. Like Outlook India, obviously everyone's tweeting about it, you can tell, but the good secret ones that no one's talking about except the people in Dubai that are involved in this stuff, I just don't think you can ever tell. And I'm glad kind of, because it means that the punches that I'm about to sign have less competition.
Yeah, I agree with what Gareth was saying like 10 minutes ago. You know, you hit the nail on the head saying, as long as you identify the patterns, you run the ball, and you shift as the times change, you'll be very quickly, and you've been in the game since 15, 20 years in there, you'll very quickly be able to identify, okay, what's going to be the next big thing coming up in terms of updates. And as people talk, industry leaders like yourselves, where you start, Google proofing your digital assets. For me, new into SEO, that's how I see it. I was having a chat with our marketing team this morning, with our tech SEO team. Okay, what's it going to do to our platform, to our inventory, and all of that? Of course, it's seeing is believing. We've had Google updates since the beginning of time. We'll see. Time will tell. But then, of course, we've got to pivot. We've got to be clever. We've got to understand patterns. For me, SEO is like being in the matrix. It seems complicated, but as long as you understand how those cogs and the wheels work, where the patterns are, everyone looks for loopholes, as Gareth was saying as well. Google will exploit it if they get that opportunity, as long as the end user is still benefiting from it, then why not?
Yeah, totally. What was the thing that got you most worried in this Google update? Like that made you question your decisions, or I don't know, start to worry about some of your projects or something like that. I'm not asking you to name the projects. I'm just asking you about the things that made you really, really worried.
It's honestly so weird that, like, obviously we have experiments, like I'll stick some content on a domain and see how it goes, and that's not one of the main, like, for my main projects, for all of the talk of parasite, whatever, I'm a pretty by the book guy. I'm trying to compete on like creating amazing experiences that had value for the most part. I know that it can get carried away because we like to talk about the sneaky stuff because it's fun to talk about, but for the main projects, apart from the experiments and stuff, I'm mostly by the book. But it's so funny how like the gaslighting of like, you're terrible and you get hit by every update, even by doing the right thing, has got me worried about fucking updates that are meant to promote content quality, as if like I've like done it, like, even though I like most of the stuff is by the book. So it's just funny how like what is being said and what happens is so different that like they can talk about this all they want, but until I see large differences in the SERPs, I'll reserve judgment on any of what they've said.
Man, I really want to get a hold of John Mueller and do a showdown between him and you.
He won't do it. I've challenged him twice now. He won't do it.
All right, Gareth, what about you?
I'm just refreshing my mind on the official announcement now, and just going through. So what have you got? Scaled content abuse. That's programmatic SEO, right? Low quality. Programmatic site reputation abuse. This is, everyone saying this is like, it's parasite, but also sites that like rent out, the aspects of their site, right? But and then the expired domain thing. So just like to be honest, like I'm going to sound like I'm worried I'm going to sound like a right smug, like, I don't know. But I looked at it, I was like, told you so, right? I think back to my talk in Dubai, and I think I actually covered quite a lot of this stuff ahead of time. And the auto-generated spam stuff, like, I was in Dubai, I was talking about the Yeah, the knowledge base systems and entities and ontologies, and how like 7 years ago, and I actually gave a little case study of a site that blew up like after the HCU, and that's because the framework, the foundations that I started laying 6-7 years ago, and playing along, it can be tough, but like that site is set for life. Like it's like it's in the value of that business. I think it. So I don't want to say too much. Actually, I've got some stuff coming out about this, but probably 40-50% overnight blew up. And I'm talking like not small numbers here. I'm talking like tens of millions in revenue, like not overnight tens of millions, but like that's what the site generates, like overall, like annually. Not tens, but certainly 10. But so I looked at this like the spam thing. I talked about how and I've talked about this on my Brighton course for years. Like people, some of this stuff, like it doesn't matter if it's automated or manual. You can do low quality work with your own bare hands, right? If you sit there and your idea of writing a good guest post is literally to go and look at what the top 10 articles on a particular subject say, and then doing your own version of amalgamating the same old ideas into your own blog post, then you've done worse than what the AI has, to be honest. And if it doesn't learn anything new, if nothing has been added to the knowledge base, then it hasn't learned anything new, and it already knew those things. Then, and by new things, I'm talking like actual entities, people, places, things, stats, like tables. Even like one of the best ways to add something new to a blog post is actually to get an expert quote in a blog post. Like if you're going to write a blog post about this update, like I'll probably come and ask you guys for a quote, and I'll put that in there. Obviously opinions is something new. If you're giving actual opinions, and the stronger your profile, or the more prominent that your entity is, the more stronger your opinion, the more weight your opinion is going to have, especially if you've got qualified opinions from experts and people are working on their personal brands and stuff. But yeah, just like in PR, getting an expert quote, whack that on the page, or obviously new data studies. If you conduct some new research, I feel like you have to add something new instead of just amalgamating the same like crap that's already out there. Otherwise, it's going to devalue the link. It's not going to rank. And so really that's what that says to me. Like, and this is what I was saying in Dubai, like if I'm all for like automate, half of my talk was about automation. If it can be summarized and there's nothing you learn, then it's like that's really what that's targeting. But programmatic SEO can be done really well. Like I love like the Zapier example and stuff like that, and what was I on the other day? Some like flight tracking things. There's a place for it, but unoriginal, low quality content, they said. So that's of course, and again, equally, I talked about like the caveats here, just before there's any there'll be some pushback from some knowledgeable people. Of course, rules are there to be broken, and this stuff isn't like, it's very easy to override with other signals, and like there's other I'm going to call it exploits, like almost like leverages, how you can sidestep some of these things. And the example from what was it? It was just comedy. It was so the irony of it when Reddit outranked the originator of the content for its own post, right? Because authority won, and the UGC signals that have been dialed up in this update, because all of this auto-generated content is flooding the web, which harms Google's business model by turning up the human signals. Like, is this content user-generated, human-generated? It's naturally it's going to push all that stuff down, and that's why. But then also there's a load of human rubbish that's floated to the top. So. But it just shows that the UGC signals and the authority signals, whatever Google's tampering with in the background there, as people have been talking about, they've overridden the quality unique content. So that's That's my views on it. But yeah, guys, keen to hear your thoughts.
I think for us here at WhitePress, obviously the announcement only really happened yesterday, so we haven't really sat down and had a lengthy conversation. But the one which bothers me a little bit is the site reputation abuse, considering the business model we've got, the space we are in, and maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but based on what the announcement says, I'm keeping a keen eye, a very close eye on the partnerships and the inventory we've got, and see, okay, how are they going to change some of their publishing guidelines? Okay, would most of the links remain do follow, or would they just play the safe game and say, okay, mate, sorry, buddy, it's going to be no follow as of today? Traffic trends.
That's fine though. That's not even a big problem, like necessarily.
Yeah, it just our biggest chunk of clients, they all want to follow. They don't really see any value in no follow. Of course, we've told them we've given them thousands of case studies. We've quoted, Kyle and all of these people that, listen, authoritative, genuine websites, no follow also passes link juice. But you know how it is with SEO. There are so many different opinions, is which one sticks to which brand or the SEO team, and they just run with it. And trust me, well, I've only been doing this for 2 years, but I've gone into meetings with SEO managers of these brands who've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years. But when it comes to link building, I've seemed like the god of SEO, telling them how things should be done. And I've always wondered, why has that been? But for me, from the outside, I think that's what it is, because SEO seems such, as I said, it seems like being in the matrix. Everyone's got their own opinion. A lot of people simply read stuff online and they run with it, but no one tests it. And that's what, people like Charles, Gareth, Kyle have been saying. Guys, don't just believe what you read on the internet. Go out and test it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Jamie, go on. I'm keen to hear your. But I just wanted to comment on, I'll criticize big tech all day long, but I'll also criticize this industry all day long for all the BS that's put out there. This is why I stay away from socials. This is why I stay away from, you'll catch me at the events offline. We joked about this, Jamie said, good luck trying to get Gareth on a podcast.
I'm still going to get you on my one too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'd love to, but that's why I stay off the socials and stuff. The majority of the industry is just following the crowd. As soon if someone was going announce something new and they were a big enough influencer and they had enough of a convincing argument, everyone would just go and follow that, and then you'd see it in agency pitch decks, and the majority are just following what the innovators are pushing out there. So there's lots of misinformation. I was speaking to an academic the other day. We really need to start declaring conflicts of interest as well in content and things. Conflicts of interest and peer reviews will never be respected by there's very, very smart people in this industry, but it's so unregulated because there's so much BS, and people will shill the rubbish that literally has no impact, no effect for as long as they possibly can, even though they know it's not working. But people will buy it. People will continually buy it. I don't know. I posted on LinkedIn the other day, a big broker.
And he froze.
Sorry, guys. Am I back?
Yeah.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
You
where did you get to? Because where did you get to?
A broker.
A big broker.
Right. Yeah. Big broker, not WhitePress. Another link broker approached me to help source them some specific things, link opportunities for a big brand, very big brand in the UK. And they're like, oh yeah, they have to be follow links. And I'm like, why? I didn't say it like that, but I say it like this is my inner emotion coming out. I'm like, it's ridiculous. You just, said, Steve, Google doesn't Google's way smart. Forget about no follow. It's such a primitive. Same with anchor texts and stuff as well. It's yes, of course, we need to be mindful of it just to make sure we don't trigger the sense, the spam sensors and things, unnatural anchor text. But they're no follow only, and I'm like, okay, why? And they said, because follow links don't pass value, and I'm like, don't they? And It's like, can you give me a good example of one of your follow links, just to make sure that I'm going to like be able to meet your standards here, right? And they gave me one. They dropped the link. I ran it through a very quick ChatGPT prompt, which like tries to identify if it's a promotional like post, and it was like, yeah, tone of voice, messaging, promotional, links to a landing page, promotional, optimized, unnatural optimized anchor text, promotional, no diverse, like impartial, like links to other sources. Oh, and it literally says sponsored at the top of the damn post. Like, come on, like your follow link isn't fooling anyone. Like, just and they're still. And the big brand, they're buying this stuff. I can't believe it. Like, they're literally, I can't be, I was like, you need to like get rid of that link, delete it. Like, it's bad. Like, so I said, sorry, I don't think we can, meet your requirements on this brief. So, so there's just so much misinformation. So go with what, like, actual tests, actual data. Right, if people make a claim, make sure they're backing it up and showing the evidence, showing the results. Otherwise, make your own common sense.
Gareth, on that front though, mate. After the webinar, just make sure to share that those contact details with me. I'll send
I never like to like name and shame, and I'm also very open-minded. It's like it's not my place to say they're wrong. Like, even though I just got on my high horse there, but that's my beliefs. But if they believe that and that works for them, then like fine. But like, I do like. I think there's an ethical standpoint for clients. If you're doing client work, that they don't know what they're buying sometimes.
I know. I was saying this to my team the other day. I said, all these SEO experts, like yourselves, Jamie, Charles, Kyle, Matt, if you guys all literally sell all your digital assets, shut down your agency, you guys could still earn millions working as advisors to these big tech brands out there who've got absolutely bloody no idea how the SEO space works. Everything you've said just now is just worth in gold anyways, so I'm really surprised. Me being an absolute newbie would go away understanding what are the basics of the thing we do here at WhitePress. And then you go into these meetings, these people with thousands of years of experience there, and they've got bloody no idea. There's like they've been reading books or stuff from, I don't know, the 1920s.
SEO in 1920s.
Hey, well, what did we have in 1920s? Probably the Dewey Decimal System, which is an indexing, cataloging system for books, library books, right? That was that's how we organized the world's information back then. It's been around for hundreds of years, as long as we've been around, as long as we've created knowledge, right? So, yeah.
True. All right. We have one question in the chat with a message. Some of what Google threatened doesn't make sense either. If Google pranks parasites, for example, what's to stop anyone doing neg SEO for competitors?
So do you mean like buying Outlook India and linking to all your competitors' money pages?
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, Jamie. But obviously, like they're just gonna down rank and drag down the primary domain. Also the donor domain, the guest domain. That's what's going to be action is going to be taken on, like programmatically, algorithmically. The penalty thing, like that all comes again. Yeah, it comes down to whether there's so many factors that are involved here. Like if Google thinks you're doing some dodgy stuff, then obviously they'll come after you. But generally, it's mostly ignored. Like really, in my opinion. Now, if you're doing lots of good stuff, but negative SEO does work. I've been on Christoph's course and Link Research Qualified, and I didn't really sort of believe it so much, but he showed me real world actual examples. There was people on that course actually, right? Guy sat next to me. Owned a really great travel brand, like a niche bespoke company. Fantastic guy. He ended up becoming a client actually. And I said, "Why are you on the course?" He's like, "Well, I'm not really an SEO, but I'm the founder of this company, and someone's been negative SEOing me for 2 years, and I can't sleep at night." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, wow. And he showed me it. I was like, "Can I have a look at your site?" and I was sat there in like Christoph's, course over in Vienna, and I was like, oh my God, like, and he's like, look, this is when they started. I know exactly who it is and what they're doing. And I was like, yeah, it's obviously that stuff can work, but I don't think, as Jamie said, they're going to. Well, do you agree, Jamie, that they're probably not going to? If the question is go and build a load of parasites and link off to the same site, is that site going to get penalised?
It'd be pretty exploitable if so.
Yeah. So
I can practically hear the cogs spinning in your head. You know.
Well, I was actually I was just going back to the official announcement. Yeah, scale content abuse, site reputation thing. Like, they say in here about host low quality content. Well then don't. Like, sometimes websites that have their own great content may also host low quality content provided by third parties with the goal of capitalizing on the site's strong reputation. Simple fix: don't host low quality content. Like, just up your game, have high editorial standards. Yes, if they're going to come to you and you're going to do a promotional like for them, and this is one of your revenue streams, like fair dues, like we all got to make money, then just set standards for those, no matter how much they're paying and what they're doing, that you only accept good quality content and that there is an overlap between your audience and their audience. And they use the example of payday loan. For example, a third party might publish payday loan reviews on a trusted educational site. Well, just don't do that. Like, it's simple. It's such an extreme example. We don't even work with grey markets anyway. Tell you who does though, Google. Like, we won't touch casino, we won't touch loans or anything, because no disrespect or criticism to those that do, but just for us, it just doesn't align with really the team's like values. But Google will take money from these people, so like it's very skewed, and like the way it's being written is just like quite manipulative, and like Jamie, like gaslighting, like literally. So don't put payday loan content on educational websites. You've taken two ends of the spectrum there, and just set good standards, and I think you'll be fine with that. And make sure there's good editorial control on it. That's my view. And then the expired domain one. Occasionally, expired domains are purchased and repurposed with the primary intention of boosting search ranking of low quality or unoriginal content. So again, don't put low quality content on there. Don't put unoriginal content on there. Don't mislead users. Thinking the new content is part of the older site, which may not be the case. Expired domains that are purchased and repurposed with the intention of boosting the search ranking of low quality content are now considered spam. Okay, so what's not considered spam? Sites that again, low quality content. Just so it's a legitimate tactic as long as you legitimize it. Like, there's nothing wrong. We've taken a domain that's got pre-use, that's got some. As long as it's relevant, and if it's almost relevant but not quite, then you can retheme that over a longer period of time. And then the only thing there, like, to think about is, and I'm not a domainer, but dabbled a little bit. If it's how are they going to know if it's changed hands? Like, if it's dropped, of course. Like that, if the who is changes or whatever, like we literally put in our contracts when we acquired domains that we're going to keep the original who is until our tests have concluded, which might be a year. We're going to keep the original who is because we don't want that to be a factor that affects the, we're setting conditions, we're trying to pass various tests, and once it passes all of those pre-flight checks, then we push the big button. So we don't want any external factors to affect that. So we keep as much continuity amongst these variables as we possibly can, and keep it in place for a year, and then we change the whois. And by that time, it's already ranking, it's already standing on its own 2 feet. So there's ways around this, and this is why I'd still very happily buy domains from Odys.
Thank you.
I'm not an affiliate, by the way.
That's true. You should become one. Yeah,
Did I?
become one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Get your face
go
on
on.
that. They've got this business mentors there. You know,
oh
we got
yeah,
that
that's
long list there.
that too. That too.
Gareth should
I'll
be
reach
there.
out to you about this as well, about mentorship, and we'll discuss it too. And by the
Cool.
way, everyone watching, you can access Odys mentors by following the link in the description, wherever you're watching this. So to wrap it all up, the core update thing. So the bottom line is just to focus on posting high quality content. How do I put it? Like
Relevant content.
yeah, relevant, and yeah, focus on brand search as well. Because if you're an established brand, established business, the potential of your site getting hit is much lower if it's just I don't know, some niche site hustle, right? So am I right?
We'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see what
Yeah,
happens over the
totally
next
agree.
Exactly.
Okay, we're about to wrap it all up, but Steve has an announcement to make, so please go on and do it.
Yes. So it's again the reason why we're here. We were kind of wrapping up Dubai. So this is due to popular demand because I've had millions of text messages since then saying I should start my own podcast / webinar, and we went through millions of different names. And gents, you've all on the WhatsApp group and all of that. So we actually took it seriously, and
Oh,
most likely from next month, a bit of a wordplay, but the idea is not just about education or networking, it's also to add a bit of fun to it, because SEO to a lot of people can become a bit boring. And of course, everyone runs their own YouTube channel, their webinar, their podcasts out there. So it's going to be a mix of things where the idea is to be different, not stupid, but still add value by just making it a lot more engaging, a lot more exciting. And we've decided to actually title it as Broken Backlinks, where I'll be hosting it. It's a bit of a word play. I'm pretty sure the audience here on Odys Talks, you guys will probably see Gareth Simpson there very soon. Jamie's going to appear. Vlad will be there. Alex, Charlie, everyone who's actually part of this thing. So yeah, basically really excited. I'll be in touch with most of the SEO experts, even people who normally don't want to come online and give out their education and show their face. I'll make sure. I'm a sales guy. I'll convince them one way or the other in order to be there. So stay tuned. That was the announcement.
awesome.
Happy
Well,
days.
a bit bummed it's not the SEO whole show, you know.
Yeah, I almost got a sign off on that, but nah.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, was a great chat. The hour flew by just like that. Really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. Where can people find you online if they haven't yet?
You can't find Gareth.
I was going to say, like, yeah, Jamie's podcast and then Steve's podcast. That's where you can find me,
And then
right?
retirement.
Yeah. Don't at me.
Yes,
Yeah.
sounds legit. Sounds legit. So yeah,
Yeah.
and yes, stay tuned. Follow us on social media. Odys Global on Facebook, Twitter, well, X, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be here next Wednesday. It's going to be another great chat. All right. Well, until the next time. Cheers.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
See
very
you
much.
later.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you.